Alright, this picture is a no trespassing sign over by Carm in front of the parking lots. This fence didn't used to be here. This trespassing sign didn't used to be here. This is where the homeless would sit during the summer to get out of the heat if they didn't want to mingle with people in the city courtyard, because that usually means trouble. And I took this picture because I thought it would represent the city pushing homeless people into being uncomfortable. This bench is in front of the Helen Ross McNabb, their old TLP, and it's where I used to sit and think of the situations I had been in and what to do about, my situation. It's also where I met my husband. And this photo with the police and fire truck is right on the street in front of the Carm courtyard. When we had gone down that day, there was already an emergency happening over somebody being drunk. And I just wanted to take this picture to show how often there's a police presence down there and how heavily there's a police presence down there. So this picture also has to do with the police presence that was down there. The lady on the ground is the one that was drunk. And she just didn't want to leave the courtyard. But the security guard for the Carm courtyard that was back there, how do I say this? He was not being very nice to anyone that day, even me, even though he's a friend of mine. And she put up a resistance about being removed from the courtyard because he wanted her removed and she didn't want to go. And they ended up pushing her to the ground because she was trying to stand up and get away from the police. So I was trying to take a picture to show how roughly we're treated down there. This photo is of the train tracks behind Carm. I used to camp, actually, right there. And this was a tent city that was put up by the city, and then all of a sudden it wasn't okay. So they came and bulldozed our tents with 2 days notice, and they didn't care if anybody was asleep. They didn't care if everybody had gotten their stuff out. We weren't allowed to take our tents. We were only allowed to take the stuff out of it. When they came and bulldozed this down, I actually wasn't here. I was in a different campsite and I hadn't been notified because they hadn't found our campsite until day of, and my cat was still in my tent, and they almost tore down my tent with my cat inside. And I didn't have any clothes after that because I just grabbed my cat instead of any items. This no trespassing sign is on the other side of those parking spaces of the other no trespass sign. This is a pathway that leads from behind Carm to Care Cuts. And the homeless would use it to cross back and forth. And it was wearing the grass down, and I guess the government didn't like that. So they put this up and to prevent us from going back and forth, I do believe. And we have to use the main street now on the sidewalks to go back and forth, which takes longer and is difficult for some people because they have to go up a really big hill to get to Care Cuts. Especially if you're handicapped, it's difficult. Jasper took this photo, I think, to show how this person just laying on the sidewalk, and this fence also didn't used to be here. It gave us less space to be. And during the day when you have nowhere to go, especially if you work night shift, You don't get to sleep in. They don't let you sleep. You get up with everyone else still. So if you came in at 4 o'clock in the morning from a night shift, you still had to get up at 5:30. So people used to sleep on the sidewalks or anywhere they could be until they were ran off. We're not allowed to sit on the sidewalks anymore. This is a swing set over by McNabb. It was used by the girls at Katie Miller and us at the TLP. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's more important.
She'll be okay. And I think Jasper took this because, like, this is where he would come and get away from everybody and think about his situation. And, yeah.